The death is announced of Philomene Clercin, also known as Philomene St. Clair, Eufita Descartes, Eufita Walix, or George St. Clair, originally of La Pointe, Micoud, who resided at Belleville-Choiseul. George passed away on Saturday, 9th March 2013, at approximately 1 a.m. at Victoria Hospital, Castries. She was 90 years old. She was predeceased by her brother, Fenton, husband, George Henderson St. Clair Clercin, her grandchildren, Angela Descartes Smith, and Dimitri Georges Clercin, her great-grandson, Julio Felix Jr., and her sister, Josephine Lena Serrieux. George was loved and admired by many. She will be sorely missed by her children, Marie Challery, also known as Eileen of Monrepo, Francis Clercin, also known as Phileas of St. Croix, USVI, Anna Marius, also known as Mimi of St. Croix, USVI, Theodore Clercin, also known as Ralph of Martinique, Angela Clercin, also known as Golinda and Gonda of Houston, Texas, Frances Fowell, also known as Cest of Tapio, former teacher of St. Joseph's Convent, now administrator of Corpus Christi Day Nursery and Preschool, Frances St. Clair Felix, also known as Francesca of Bexor, proprietor of Shop No. 6, Block BS, Jeremy Street, Castries, Joseph St. Clair, also known as Leo of Belleville-Choiseul, Theodora St. Clair, also known as Bibia, and Auntie B of Mondador, former teacher at the Bexor Combined School, currently a teacher at the Vidboutai Secondary School, Barbatus St. Clair, also known as Barbie of Maryland, USA, registered nurse at the Children's Hospital in Washington, D.C., former nurse at Victoria Hospital, Simonia St. Clair Theobald, also known as Mona, of Grand Riviere Groseilliers, medical technologist at the Ezra Long Laboratory at the Victoria Hospital. Her grandchildren, Florentina Antonia Liebert of Passias, Monrepo, Linda Descartes James of La Pointe, Monrepo, Vincent Descartes of Pierrot, Vieux-Fort, Augustus Clercin of Castries, Elva, Skitter, Mervyn, Christine, Natasha and Junie Clercin, Pauline George, Jonathan, Francis, Caffey, Calvin, and Juanita Marius, all of St. Croix, USVI and the USA, Andrew, Tommy, and Thomas Valse of Castries, Jessica Rano of France, Deborah Clercin of Martinique, Alexander St. Clair, and Cherry Fowell of Houston, Texas, Luke, Jonathan, Hermin, Delphina Sharma St. Clair, all of Canada, Colleen Edward, Crystal and Sylvanus Felix of Bexor, Kimisha, Lee, Leisha, and Junior St. Clair, all of Antigua, Taj and Shakima St. Clair of the USA, Dariel St. Clair, studying in Trinidad, Darlene St. Clair, and Karina Altino of Castries. Her 56 great-grandchildren including Coma James and Lance Liebert of Passias, Monrepo, Barlene and Natalie Descartes of Pierrot, Vieux-Fort, Philippa Sidney, Sharma and Nelson Theodore, Janae Clercin, all of Castries, Tori, Tomica, Tamika, and Liana Valse, all of Groseilliers, Cassie and Theo Edward of Bexor, Zania, Daralee, and Delcy St. Clair, all of Castries, Jediah Haynes of Castries, Seth and Matthew Felix of Bexor. Her 4 great-great-grandchildren including Kiara and Keishon of La Pointe, Monrepo, her sons and daughters-in-law, Henry Warner Challery of La Pointe, Monrepo, Mary Lyra Clercin and Walter Marius of St. Croix, USVI, Williana Clercin of Martinique, Mark Arthur Farwell of Tapio, Christier Zozim of Bexor, Michael Theobald of Grand Riviere, her siblings and their families: Josephat Hartley Stanislas, Joseph Simon Stanislas, Helen Edme Robinson, Anne-Marie Stanislas, and Antoinette William of La Pointe, Mon Repos, Josephat Marie Stanislas, and Amelita Walter of St. Thomas, USVI, Charles Clifford Stanislas of the UK, Marie-Thérèse Solot Serrier of Lombard, Mon Repos. Her longtime and dear friends: Miss Fifi Flavier and her family of Vieux-Fort, Miss Rosalind and Mr. Elias of Vieux-Fort and their daughter Yasmin, her cousin, Mrs. Winnie Compton, residing at Debrel, in Choiseul, and her family, her nephews with whom she had a special bond: Cletus of Miami, Sius of St. Croix, USVI, and Samuel of Mon Repos, her numerous other nieces and nephews by blood and marriage, her godchildren: Elizabeth Charlemagne Popo of Millet, Mathelda of Castries, Francis of Forcejac, Michael Placid of Bans, La Grace, her adopted daughters: Agatha Alfred of Vieux-Fort, residing in New York, who is also her niece; Margarita Cadet of Soufre, residing in Connecticut; Annette Price of Tampa, Florida, who is also her niece; Mary Lane Rigobert of Mico; the siblings of a deceased husband and their families: Titis, Henry, François, Augustine, and Frances Charlemagne of Saltibus, Labrie, and Castries; the children of the late Bertilia Charlemagne of Vieux-Fort; the children of the late Regina Placid of Bans, La Grace, and Labrie; her special friends from Belleville, Choiseul, who were always there for her: Henrietta Popot, who was like her daughter; Maosley, Gertrude, Lucia Shalry, Valerie, Glennis and Sister Nora, Fia, Varan and Donna; Angel and Veronica Stanislas, the LaForce brothers, Agatha, Jacinta, Katie, Ermin, and the rest of the Flavier family; Churchill and all her good neighbors in Belleville, Victoria and Montjac; the Belleville Mothers and Fathers Group, the workers of the Belleville Farmers Cooperative, her friends from Martinique; the Pio family, Mr. and Mrs. Leon; Paula Duvet and family, Cooley and family, Kake and family, Mr. Wozin and family; also the Fowle families of Tapio, Nadia and Matthew Hutchinson and their families of Tapio; the family of the late Mabi, who was a very dear friend of La Pointe Choiseul, including Cecilia Similier and Ken; Catherine Leo, principal of the Vidbouteille Secondary School; Henry Wilson of Labrie; Philbert Francis of Mondador, employed at Bank of St. Lucia; Monica Felix, her nurse and friend of Myers Bridge; Nurse Jenny Frederick; her friends from Victoria Hospital: Maggie, Chantal, Giselle, Pam, Concy, and Chris; her friends from her market vendor days in Vieux-Fort, Choiseul, and Soufre; other families: the Descat, Biscombe, Jean-Marie, Noel, Stanislas, Francis, Clercin, St. Clair, Charlemagne, Cox, Smith, and Shalry families of Micoud, Dennery, Saltibus, Castries, Millet, and Ancillary; and many other persons who touched and enhanced her life in one way or another. The funeral service of our beloved Philomene Clercin, also known as Ma George, will be held on Friday, 22nd March, at 2:30 p.m. at the Lady of the Assumption Church in Vieux-Fort. The interment will be at the Margaret O'Brien Private Cemetery in Latony, Vieux-Fort. The body now lies at Lazarus Funeral Home, Udock Road, Vieux-Fort. May she rest in peace. Special note: buses have been organized to transport persons to the funeral, cemetery and back. Castries bus M1160 leaves the Derek Walcott Square at 12:45 p.m. Dennery bus M1010 leaves the Dennery Evangelical Church at 1:30 p.m. La Pointe Mon Repos Southern Taxi Association bus leaves the base at 1:30 p.m. Belleville Choiseul Fricks bus leaves Wavine Lave at 1:30 p.m.